you know, in relation to anything at all, please do enter them during the chat box. And if you could kindly put your microphones on mute as well during the session, that would be fantastic. And I'll do my best to answer whatever questions that we have in the session in the chat box. And again, thank you as well, Andy, for joining us today. And yes, please do take it away. We're excited to hear what you've got in store for us.
Hello, good morning, everybody. This is Andy from Switzerland. We just got some fresh snow this morning, and I'm very, very excited to hold this presentation for you today. I will just share my screen with you so that everybody can follow my presentation. Here we go. I don't know how many of you have been to Switzerland already. Well, but I will try, for the others who have not been yet to Switzerland, I will try to give you as many impressions as possible so that you can imagine how it is to travel by train, bus and boat in our beautiful country. So the best, well, that's me, by the way, so that you know who is talking to you this morning. I'm the market manager for Brazil, Japan, South Korea, the United Arab Emirates, and Australia and New Zealand. And the best way to get around in Switzerland is by public transport. And you notice that I'm talking about public transport and not about trains, as in many other countries. In Switzerland, we have fully integrated public transport network consisting of trains, buses, boats, and city transportation. As you can see on this map here, well, the lines are almost covering every spot in the country. All the red lines are the trains. All the yellow lines are the bus lines. So you see, if there is no train, there is a bus connecting all the various places in Switzerland, and we are not even showing all the bus lines on this map. It would be entirely yellow, and that just doesn't make sense. And as you can see, there are quite a few lakes in Switzerland, and on almost every lake you find boat services. And in most of the Swiss cities and towns, you find city transportation, which is buses and tramways. Well, why is the Swiss travel system the densest public transport network in the world? Because the distances are very short. You have to keep in mind that Switzerland is a very small country. You can cross the whole country by train in just 4 hours, which is really pretty small. The dimensions are about 340 kilometers from west to east and about 280 north-south, which is, well, I would say a compact country. We have 2 international airports, and both international airports are connected directly to the public transport network. We have airport stations with train services to all major cities in the country. In Switzerland, we have a thing that's called the regular interval timetable, meaning there is a train every hour on each line in each direction. And that's just a standard service. On all the intercity lines and on the S-Bahns, which are the commuter trains in the agglomerations, you have trains every 30 minutes. That's also the reason why seat reservations are not required on the regular trains in Switzerland. Free seating is the rule. Why should I book a seat if I have a train every 30 minutes? This is keeping us our flexibility, which we like very much here in Switzerland. If I find a very nice restaurant while sightseeing and I want to have an extended lunch there, I don't have to worry about catching my train. I just wait for the next one. If one train is very crowded, especially in rush hour, and there is rush hour in Switzerland as well, Rush hour is pretty early in Switzerland. It starts about 6:30 in the morning, ends about at 8:30 in the morning, and begins again at 4:30 in the afternoon until 6:30 in the afternoon. So if it happens that I want to catch a train in rush hour, the train can be pretty full. Well, maybe I don't want that. So I just go to the bar at the station, have a nice drink, and then take a train after rush hour. That's all possible on the Swiss travel system with our open system. And on top of that, our trains are clean, safe, comfortable, and very, very punctual. A Swiss train is considered delayed, running 3 minutes behind schedule. And, well, they even announce a 4-minute delay. And believe it or not, the Swiss are complaining about a 4-minute delay. So now, how to travel on this Swiss travel system network? The best and easiest way is to get a Swiss travel pass. With the Swiss travel pass, you can travel unlimitedly by train, bus, and boats. You even may use the premium panorama trains, which are a must when being in Switzerland. There are 3 mountaintop excursions. That's Mount Rigi, Stanserhorn, and Schildhorn. I will talk more about those later on in the presentation. And you get up to 50% on all the other mountaintops. And there is quite a number of mountaintops you can reach by cable car or mountain train in Switzerland. Also, and that's pretty unique compared to other pass offers in our neighboring country, you get free admission to more than 500 museums all over the country. The passes are available in first and second class. You have the choice between 3, 4, 8, or 15 days. And you have the option of having a consecutive pass or a flex pass. One important fact I want to point out is the family reduction. Children up to the age of 16 travel free of charge when traveling with at least one parent holding a Swiss travel system ticket. I was mentioning the museums before. There are more than 500 of those being included in the Swiss Travel Pass. And these are not just some boring, old, dusty museums. No, these are very interactive venues. There are many medieval castles, which are museums. For example, the Chillon Castle in Montreux, almost everybody knows that one. It's situated in the Lake Geneva. And the regular entrance fee to that Chillon Castle, which is, by the way, the most visited museum for Swiss travel pass holders, a regular entrance fee is about 14 Swiss francs. So you see the saving is pretty high, even though if your clients are just spending maybe half an hour or 1 hour in one of those museums. Now, most of our passes are available as printed home tickets. That's a Swiss Travel Pass, and that's also the Swiss Family Card, the most important tickets. The Travel Pass Flex is not yet available as a printed home solution, but soon to come. Well, all of you, or I hope all of you, are knowing the Eurail Pass. There is quite a significant difference between the Swiss Travel Pass and the Eurail Pass. Well, the name already shows it. Eurail is a rail pass, though the Swiss Travel Pass, as we have learned already, is a public transport pass, including so many features. For example, there is no mountaintop excursion included in Eurail, and only a few grand reduction. City transportation is not included at all into Eurail. No buses are included in Eurail. There are just small reductions for the lake cruises with the Eurail Pass, though, as we all know, the Swiss Travel Pass is covering it all. So be sure that you offer the right product to your client when traveling to Switzerland. If your clients are visiting cities only, for example, and stay just a few days in Switzerland, well, the Eurail Pass might come in handy. So as soon as your clients are traveling extensively in Switzerland, are going into the mountains, are doing a lot of excursions, the Swiss Travel Pass is the right tickets. Now, just quickly, how to get to Switzerland when not flying in. Switzerland is very well connected to the neighboring countries. There are high-speed connections into Switzerland, although in Switzerland we don't have much high speed. There are just too many mountains and obstacles in Switzerland, though our trains are also running up to 200 kilometers per hour, which are about 130 miles. So we have very good connections from Zurich, Bern, Lausanne and Geneva to Paris. Zurich, Paris takes only about 4 hours. Basel, Paris only 3 hours. That's faster than flying, since you don't have to go to the airport, do check-in and all that stuff. But also Germany is pretty well connected, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, and so on. There are even 5 connections per day from Interlaken all the way to Berlin, which is a very nice alternative to flying, since you have some view, which you don't have when traveling by plane. Austria is connected with the Railjet train. Zurich-Vienna takes about 8 hours, and there is a connection every 2 hours. And down south to Italy, you may remember that we opened the world's longest railway tunnel just 2 years ago, which is connecting Zurich with the south of Switzerland, the Ticino. Lugano is the place there, and then further down to Milan. This was cutting down traveling time by 30 minutes so far, and in another 2 years it will cut down traveling time from 4 hours to 3 hours from Zurich to Milan. Again, that will be faster than flying. Now, I was talking about the short distances in Switzerland, also about short connections in Switzerland. A 2 or 3 minute connection in Switzerland is just normal. For the ones who have been here already, they know it's not a problem at all. So it might become a problem if you are traveling with heavy luggage. Well, there is nobody giving you assistance in Switzerland handling your luggage. You are responsible by yourself to get everything on the train in time. So now there are 2 options. Option number 1 is traveling light. For me, not a problem, I'm used to it, but not every person is used to travel light. So if traveling light is not possible, we also provide luggage services. And I guess you have heard of those services already. We are providing services from station to station. We also provide the so-called flight luggage, meaning that you can ship your luggage from the airport of origin straight to the final destination in Switzerland. That works pretty well. And last but not least, it's possible to do the check-in already in already at home and getting the luggage shipped to the airport. That's all possible in Switzerland, though there are a few changes, especially for the flight luggage. The check-in at the train station will no longer be available as of April, meaning the alternative will be the door to airport flight luggage, which was available already. Also, the flight luggage product sending from abroad to Switzerland will no longer be available through Geneva Airport. This will be as of June this year, though it is possible, and it will not be possible to get the same day delivery to a station in Switzerland. These are the 2 changes as of June. It will still be possible to get it on the same day to the hotel. So the door-to-door solution will still be available. And last but not least, the express luggage, it will not be possible anymore as of June to get the luggage shipped from one station to the other on the same day. So, the same day delivery from hotel to hotel remains. To make it short, please focus of the red highlighted products, the express door-to-door flight luggage, the express door-to-door luggage, and the door-to-door flight luggage from Switzerland going home. For prices of the various products, please refer to Rail Europe, the extranets. Everything is listed there, and of course also in Euronet. So also we will continue with the market test for the door-to-door group luggage. For the ones who have not heard of it yet, the group luggage is a special offer, well, obviously for groups. There is a minimum of 10 people who have to be in a group. The maximum is 50 people. And I want to point out that we talk about people and not about pieces of luggage. So there a flat rate applies. It's around 200 euros in Euronet. And this will cover all the transport of the luggage of the whole group from hotel to hotel on the same day delivery. And this is a very, very convenient solution. So now here we are. What's a trip to Switzerland without taking one of the panoramic trains? And well, look at that picture. I mean, where else would you experience something like that? This is, by the way, the Bernina Express. Now, there are various options of taking a panoramic train in Switzerland. One very important fact is that you have to book your seats in advance. So it's absolutely compulsory to have a seat reservation for the panoramic trains in Switzerland. It's not like the regular trains where you just hop on and hop off as you wish. Let me explain about the premium panoramic trains. The Glacier Express. The Glacier Express is probably the most well-known panoramic train in Switzerland. It's running through the high alpine landscape, connecting the two world-famous mountain resorts of Zermatt and St. Moritz. The whole trip from Zermatt to St. Moritz or vice versa takes 8 hours. And that's the longest time you can spend on a single train in Switzerland. Remember, traveling from Geneva in the very west of Switzerland to St. Gallen in the east of Switzerland by intercity takes only 4 hours. Now, there are various connections a day from Zermatt to St. Moritz and vice versa. There are 3 connections a day in each direction in summer and 1 in winter. It's also possible to do just part of the whole trip, for example, from Zermatt to Andermatt or from Chur to Brig. And one very important fact, there is a fresh meal available on the Glacier Express. They have a kitchen on board. It's the only dining car in Switzerland where they still prepare the food freshly on board. This also needs to be pre-booked. It's highly recommended to get it pre-booked to make sure that it's really available. And I highly recommend to enjoy this special meal on the train. All further information are available on extranet. Another very nice option is the Bernina Express. That's another picture connecting the the southeast of Switzerland, Chur and Davos, with St. Moritz and Tirano in Italy. Tirano in Italy, and then there is a bus connection in summer going back to Lugano in Switzerland through Italy along Lake Como. Even though the bus is running through Italy, It's fully included in the Swiss Travel Pass. And this trip from Chur to Tirana takes 4 hours. If you want to take the bus as well from Tirana back to Lugano, back to Switzerland, it's an additional 3 hours. So this train is taking you from the snow-covered mountain peaks down to the palm trees in Italy on Lake Como and in Lugano. A very nice combination. Another very spectacular trip is the Golden Pass line. And you see on this picture, the Golden Pass line is connecting the Swiss Riviera, as we call it, Lake Geneva, with central Switzerland. And it's climbing through the vineyards of the Lavaux area, as you can see on this picture here, and then going through the Alps to Lucerne, as you see on this map. Important, it's not a direct train connecting Montreux with Lucerne. There are 2 changes required. One is in Zweisimmen and one is in Interlaken. So, well, remember, distances in Switzerland are very short. Also at the stations, people don't have to walk very far. So this is a perfect example where to use the luggage services. So when you ship the luggage, you don't have to worry about these 2 changes. So the door-to-door luggage service would be perfect for this Golden Pass line. We introduced the Gotthard Panorama Express last year, and you see on this picture, this train is featuring the biggest panoramic windows in Switzerland. So in first class you have these big panoramic windows, and in second class you have regular cars, though these are cars where you can still open the windows. Well, that's on most regular trains it's not possible anymore to open the windows, but on these special second-class cars on the Gotthard Panorama Express, you can still open the window and feel fresh air and take very good pictures. Gotthard Panorama Express is a unique combination of boat and train. You can start either in Lucerne or in Lugano. When you start in Lucerne, it's first the boat taking you across Lake Lucerne to Flüelen, and in Flüelen you change to the panoramic train, taking you through the Alps on the old Gotthard line, which is a masterpiece of engineering when it was built in 1882, so more than 100 years ago. And then you are going through tunnels, spiraling tunnels, crossing bridges and viaducts, ending up in the southern part of Switzerland, in the Ticino, in Bellinzona or Lugano. Special about the Gotthard Panorama Express is that it's not running every day, especially not throughout the year. It's running from Tuesdays to Sundays, so except Monday from April to October. Please keep in mind that seat reservations are required for all those panoramic trains I was just showing. Now let's have a look at the mountain excursions which are included in the Swiss Travel Pass. One which has been included for quite a few years already is the Rigi. Rigi is also called the Queen of the Mountains, and it's in central Switzerland, close to Lucerne. What you can do is you can take the boat out of Lucerne to Vitznau. It takes about an hour, a little bit more than an hour, and then from Vitznau you take the cogwheel train going up to Rigi Kulm. And as you can see on this little map, you can then take another cogwheel train down on the other side of the mountain to Altgoldau and take the regular train back to Lucerne. It's easily possible to do it in half a day, the perfect half-day excursion out of Lucerne, but it can be easily be extended to a full-day excursion, doing a little bit of easy hiking on top of Rigi, spending a little bit of time in the restaurants up there. There are various of them, and yeah, so it's very easy to make a full-day excursion out of Lucerne. Open 365 days a year. and as mentioned already, fully covered in the Swiss Travel Pass. New as of this year is the Schilthorn being part of the Swiss Travel Pass, and Schilthorn became famous thanks to a James Bond movie. That's why you see on this picture the 007 symbol on the building here. More than 50 years ago, they produced a James Bond movie up there on Her Majesty's Secret Service, for the ones who remember. And in this movie, the mountain was called Piz Gloria. And especially now here on this picture, you see the view you have from Schilthorn, the three, the three mountains in the back are Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau, probably one of the most famous mountains in Switzerland. They are all about 4,000 meters high. Schilthorn in the vicinity of Interlaken, very easily accessible all year round. First you have to take the railway and the bus to Stechelberg or Müren, and there is a train every 30 minutes. And then it takes another 30 minutes, 32 minutes to be precise, for going up to the summit. And I'd say this trip is really a very good value for money. A regular trip up there would be about 100 Swiss francs, and with the Swiss Travel Pass you don't pay a single cent. Also new as of this year is the Cabrio Stanzerhorn. And well, on this picture you see already what this mountain excursion is well known for. It's the first open-air cable car in the world. As you can see, you can stand on the rooftop of the gondola and have spectacular views over central Switzerland, the Prealps, and the Lake Lucerne in the background. Stanzerhorn is 15 minutes out of Lucerne by train. The cable car operates only from April to November, so it's not running in winter. And the Stanzerhorn I'd call the perfect FIT mountain. There are hardly any groups going up there. They have rangers, so-called rangers on the summit, which are explaining the view, for example, but also the flora and fauna up there to the visitors. There is also a revolving restaurant on top. So the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland has been introduced a few years ago. You remember, it's the best combination of all the panoramic trains and scenic excursions in Switzerland. More than 1,200 kilometers of panorama traveling. And well, we are continuing with this Grand Train Tour of Switzerland. Well, you will even see more of this grand tour in the future, since we are going to develop it further. So it will be, it will be more an experience to feel and to touch than it has been before. You see, it can be done in 8 days perfectly, so the 8 days Swiss Travel Pass is the perfect ticket for doing it, and it's covering most of Switzerland, all the various areas. Please remember that the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland is not a product, it's not an offer, it's more an itinerary, it's more a suggestion on how to get around by panoramic train in the most or in the best possible way. There is an interactive map on the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland. You see the URL leading to that, and it's also possible to get a certificate after, after you have done the Grand Train Tour of Switzerland. Also featured is the My Travel Stamp booklet, which is covering the Grand Train Tour. So it's possible to collect stamps at certain points. and there are coupons in this travel stamp booklet giving you reductions for certain things to buy. But there is more than just the panoramic trains and the grand train tour in Switzerland. I want to show you a few excursion ideas. For example, well, the Rigi round trip, as I was mentioning already, the perfect combination of train and boat. Or it is possible to travel from St. Gallen to Schaffhausen. Schaffhausen is another beautiful city in Switzerland with a medieval old town. And the good thing about this connection from St. Gallen to Schaffhausen is that part of it can be done on a river cruise. So there is even a river cruise in Switzerland, although it's not an overnight river cruise, but it can be from 2 up to 4 hours, and there is restaurant service provided on the boat. That's a very great alternative to taking the train. Now I can also announce some news. We are introducing an app this year. It's called the Swiss Travel Guide. And this app is the perfect companion for the Swiss Travel Pass clients. It will feature tips on the highlights on the Swiss travel system. There will be timetable information. Also available are railway station maps, an FAQ function, and help functions are available. For example, well, it happens every now and then that people are leaving things on the train, that this app is providing the right numbers, how to get in contact with Lost and Found service. It should be available as of 1st May this year for Android and iOS. And of course, there will be regular updates and improvements in the future. Very important, we are not collecting customer data. And there are no sales possible through this app. It's purely an assistance for the Swiss Travel Pass traveler. Also an important fact are the construction works on MOB, so the Golden Pass line this year. There will be some, the services will be adjusted for a certain time period. There are construction works from 19 March to 1st of June between Montbovon and Châteaudet, meaning that Golden Pass travelers need to change to a bus for a short part of the trip. Also, the Golden Pass panoramic with the VIP seats, these are the seats where you have the front view on the train, will be out of service until September, because they will get refurbished. Also, the Golden Pass Classic will not be in service, but only until end of June. After that, it is absolutely possible to book it again. Last but not least, the cheese train and also the chocolate train will not be running as regularly this year. We are at your service. We are actually upgrading our market management team. So instead of just 3 overseas market managers, we are going to have 7. And that means we will have a closer service. But very important, Rail Europe is still your first contact. And still we are not selling directly. So all the sales are going through Rail Europe. Also, remember that we have our own trade and media platform, mySTSnet.com, providing a lot of useful information about the Swiss travel system and the Swiss travel system products. There are fact sheets, there are maps, there is current news, etc. So have a look at it. It's really, really helpful. Also available there is our sales manual. The sales manual is actually giving you all the answers to your questions about the Swiss Travel Pass and the Swiss travel system. Well, that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention, and I think we have time for some questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Andy. I know I learned at least 5 or 6 new things out of that presentation. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Does anyone have any particular questions that they would like to ask Andy in particular? It's a fantastic presentation and some exciting new updates for you know, technological purposes and also extra things as well in terms of the different transport systems and whatnot. So if anyone has any questions, we'll leave a couple of minutes at the end right now for anyone to ask, whether or not it's via chat or by unmuting your microphones and asking the questions directly, and we'd be more than happy to help wherever possible. Any questions at all? Okay, well, if there are no further questions, we'll end the training session from there. Once again, Andy, thank you so very much for hosting today's training session on the fantastic world of Switzerland by rail. It's definitely an area which has some of the most comprehensive, you know, modes of transport features and exciting things to do. Future purposes as well. Thank you once again to all. Okay, just in case, I think I was having a couple of audio issues earlier with my audio connection. Just wanted to say once again, thank you to all for joining, and of course, thank you to Andy for taking the time out. I know it's very early at the moment in Switzerland right now. So thank you once again for hosting today's session. And like I said earlier, the link to today's recorded session will be available on the training library as well. Thank you to all.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you, Andy. Once again, it was fantastic. A really great session.
Thank you very much.